So, if you've been following my Instagram, you know that I was in Japan for a week. It was amazing. This video is going to be about it and a couple questions that you guys had for me. Before we get started, I'm going to point out that my lipstick is Dusk from Makeup Monster Cosmetics, or Monster Makeup Cosmetics, because I know you're going to ask. And I got my hair silver with Arctic Fox Sterling. This is the only silver hair dye to actually ever turn my hair silver, which is super exciting. So first off, why did I go to Japan? My mom is the president of a travel company and has her own section in it. And she had to go do site inspections for an anime-based tour that they're doing in Japan. And brought me along as a consultant because I'd been there once before, and I love anime, in case you guys didn't know. My door's making weird sounds. So yeah, it was a 14-hour flight there. Once we got there, we stayed 2 nights in the Tokyo Metropolitan Hotel, which was amazing. And then after that, we went to Hakone, I never know how to say it. I went to Studio Ghibli Museum, I went to Akihabara, I went to Harajuku and Takashita Street in Harajuku. We spent a night on Mount Koya, which is one of the holiest mountains in all Japan. We stayed in like a monk facility. We stayed in Kyoto a night, got dressed up as like authentic geishas in their outfits, which in Kyoto they call themselves Gaiko now. I believe that's how you pronounce it, because they don't want to be looped with the stigma that geishas were with in the olden days. And then after we stayed on Mount Hakone, we took the bullet train back to Tokyo and stayed our last night in the Tokyo Metropolitan Hotel again. That night we went to a huge shopping center right across the street. It was amazing. I love Japan so much. I've been obsessed with it and its culture and anime and manga for more than half my life now, at least 15 years. So it was super exciting. We got to make sushi, we got to make noodles, I ate squid ink pasta. It was so great. So one of the questions that I had was tattoos in Japan, because they are not scene friendly in Japan. They're associated with gang activity, which, I mean, it's slowly changing in their culture. The entire time I was there, I saw one tattoo shop, which was on Takashita Street, and not a single tattooed person there. Or if there were, they had them covered up. And I am a very tattooed person. Like, I have face tattoos, my throat, my hands, my knuckles. No one said anything to me. I didn't see any areas that I couldn't go in because I had tattoos, but I know that like swimming pools and beaches and hot springs are some of those areas. I didn't go to any of those areas. But from what I've heard, they're not allowed there, and they'll have signs that say no tattoos. But I got to stay in like the monk temple, or not the temple, but like the monk shrine, and it was really cool because we got to sleep on like tatami mat floors, and they had like the heated tables. And one of them said that he liked my tattoos, which was pretty awesome, because I didn't know how they would take it there, especially because it is more of a conservative culture. But yeah, no one said anything about them, but also Japanese people are super friendly and nice. And Japan is the cleanest place I've ever been in the entire world. It's just like New York City, but without any of the garbage, or like the homeless people or the beggars. So it's like a weird alternate universe, if that makes sense. I can speak very, very minimal Japanese, like a couple words maybe, like hello, goodbye, thank you, I'm sorry, excuse me, like those things. I cannot read Japanese. I did take Japanese in college, dropped out during that semester because Japanese was so difficult to learn. If you didn't know, they have 3 alphabets, which is crazy. They're so smart there. A lot of Japanese people can speak bits and pieces of English, so whenever me and my mom would go out to like restaurants alone without a translator or a guide, we seem to order okay. They have Starbucks in Japan. Their coffees are super small in Japan too. I've noticed like my morning coffee is like this big, and in Japan it was like that big. So I throughout the day I would have to like consistently go to vending machines and get coffee just to like keep my energy up. It's also a 14-hour time difference there, or yeah, 14-hour time difference. So jet lag is getting me down now, and it was when I was there too. I'm just now accumulating back to New York time. Um, so another one of the questions I got was, would I live in Japan? In a heartbeat, yes. I wanted to live in Japan for years and years and years. Like, that has been my end game my entire life. But I can't speak the language, so obviously I couldn't get a job there, which is the only problem. But if somebody were to, like, magically be like, tomorrow you have a one-way ticket to Japan and you can magically speak the language, would you go? I would go home and pack all my bags and leave the next day. Like, I love Japan so much. It's a beautiful city, and well, I mean, Tokyo's a beautiful city, so is Kyoto. Amazing country. Like, their food is second to none. Their sweets, one of the questions I got was about their sweets. It said, do they taste as good as they look? Yes! But the great thing I love about Japan is that their portion sizes are much smaller than American portion sizes. Because I don't eat a lot at one time. I snack throughout the day. So when you eat in Japan, it has a lot of, like, little things on your plate. And they're much smaller portions. Like, a slice of cake in America is like this big, and a slice of cake in Japan is like that big. And I don't like sweet things, and most of the sweets in Japan look super sweet, but they're not, which is awesome. They taste like light, they're not heavy, they don't sit with you all day. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull up my phone and see what other questions I got, because I'm really bad. I also have rice on the stove now. My apologies if I dip away for a second. So why do you like Japanese culture so much? Oh, why do you like Japan so much? Is it their culture? Yes, that's a huge part of it. It's the anime-based culture where, and also like the old school buildings with the sliding doors and the tatami mats, like those are so cool. Like, they're so neat. You fold up the bed, you put it away, you bring out the table in the morning. Like, it's just everything about Japan I just love. Did you go to Tokyo Tower? Not this time, but I have been to Tokyo Tower in the past. If you guys didn't know, almost exactly 10 years ago I went to Japan also. What did the squid ink noodles taste like? Well, it had like a garlic seasoning, so it tasted mainly garlic. But I do have a picture on my Instagram of, I found this giant Colonel Sanders from KFC, like a statue of him, and I took a picture with it. And if you go on my Instagram's just Cupid of Chaos. If you go on there and like zoom in, you'll see that like half my mouth is like blacked out and I look like a child who was like eating a lollipop for too long. But yeah, it stained my entire mouth for a little while. How was the trip different from the one you took in high school? Well, when I went before, it was a put-together trip for People to People, if you guys know what that program is. And I was a kid then. I was 14 years old then. So this was my first time going back as an adult and, like, exploring Japan as an adult, and it was amazing. Was it easy getting around without knowing Japanese? It was pretty easy. Most of the trains, I mean, well, all the trains I went on, and all the subways, they'll say something in Japanese and they'll say it in English, and then all the boards that like say the destinations in Japanese will flip to English. So I could get around by myself. It's a little harder to communicate at like restaurants or like one-on-one if you don't know the language and they don't speak any English. Like, it's nearly impossible. But most things that you see are also in English. Like, if you go to a museum, most places will have an English brochure. So it's kind of like a dual language society, just from what I saw in my perspective. How long did you save up for the trip? About 2 weeks before I went. Because my mom went through her company, we didn't have to pay for like hotels or a lot of the things that we did when we were there because it was covered through the site inspection, which was awesome. But I'm planning on saving up and going like once a year, once every 2 years, because I love it so much and I want to like be more accustomed to that culture and maybe eventually move there. Who knows? I think that's all of them. Yeah. I think I covered most of the questions, guys. I will be sharing a lot of the photos that I took from like the Studio Ghibli Museum and like all around on the streets, the fish market, making sushi, making noodles. I'll be sharing a lot of that on my Facebook page, which is, I think it's facebook.com/nomvegannom because it never let me change the URL. So if you guys want to go on there and see the pictures, it'd be super awesome. And like pictures can't even describe how amazing Japan is. But if you guys have any more questions, or want me to make specific videos on some of this stuff, or if you guys want me to like order a bunch of Japanese makeup products or like snacks and food to try them on here, I would totally be down for that. So just leave me a comment, leave me your thoughts. If you've ever been to Japan, where did you go? What did you think about it? Yeah, that's all. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take my rice off the stove before it burns. Bye!